10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this November 20th, 2017 evening. And Chris, it was a big weekend. The Ferrigno Legacy Classic took place. Brandon Curry emerging victorious there. And, of course, the NPC Nationals down in Miami taking place with Chris DiDomenico winning the men's overall title and adding his name to the historic list. Before we get started with all the festivities, because as you know, it was a crazy weekend. You got to hang. I should have stayed home too. You were the smartest one of all.
Yes.
But
yeah.
It was an interesting weekend. But I will say this: there's never a lack of entertainment in our industry. Haven't you noticed that by now?
Well, there is, but there's not a lack of entertainment in your life. So there is a lack of entertainment in the industry.
Do you think I attract it? You think it's my own fault that all this stuff happens to me? That because of my creative thinking process that I'm attracted?
Yeah, people like with no creativity are offended by it, or people who are like.
No, I think you know how you create your own reality by your thoughts. You think I'm attracting all this nutty shit that's going on?
Well, it's just not. I mean, it's too coincidental. It must be because it is too coincidental that it's just engulfing you.
Yeah. Did you make money this weekend at least with by missing the Nationals?
No, I didn't make money. No, my health insurance bill came in, so I'm going to be losing money.
Oh, and you lost money too because you let me stay in your condo for the weekend, so you couldn't rent.
Yeah, it well, you only I heard you only stayed for 15 minutes, and then Steve Karel kicked you out of it.
I only spent seriously like probably 6 hours in your.
I'm sure.
Because I got out of the show on Friday night so late. By the time I got back to your condo and then slept, I had to get up. I literally we were there for like 2 hours working on the computer. Went to bed. 6 hours later, we were out. You know, and that was it. But it was. Believe me, it was a nice 6 hours of sleep. It's a very relaxing, comfortable little apartment you got there. What do you rent that thing out for a weekend?
Like $40,000 a weekend. No.
Oh, that's not so bad.
No,
I know a few people who do that. Aaron would stay there. Yeah,
well, for Aaron, I put like a little fake trophy in there. Or I put like a Monet painting in there. I'd say it was painted by like Joe Weider. And sell it to him. It's like $225 a night, which is a deal.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
7 nights is $1,575. Anyone want an oceanfront condo?
I was just going to do that for you. I was going to advertise it for you. It has every amenity. It has a kitchen. It has Ethernet, Wi-Fi rather. It has 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, a beautiful living room. It has TVs in all the room. It has towels. I mean, you don't soap.
You just need to bring your own GH and your own toothbrush.
That's right. I didn't have shampoo in the bathroom. Did I not find it?
Oh no, we don't supply shampoo.
So I washed my hair with the liquid soap you had there.
I guess.
For one night, I figured it's not going to kill me. I don't have much hair anyway. It doesn't matter. All right, Chris. Before we would cut off, I was basically saying what you should do is you got to put some waters in the refrigerator, and you could charge like $10 a water, like to do with the hotels.
Oh yeah, I wanted to do all the add-ons like that, like take the rub and we'll charge you $225.
Yeah. I think people
take
that.
the flat screen TV and we'll charge you like $8,000.
Right. No, but you do the waters. Hey, you want us to stock the refrigerator with water for you? Yeah, that'll be like $10 or something extra. It's a cheap way to make money, and a lot of people do it. I'll be like, yeah, fuck it, I don't want to have to go shopping. Put the waters in the fridge.
Yeah. No, I got to figure out different ways to create a revenue stream from it.
$2,000 for like a kit of growth hormone in the refrigerator, and $150 for a bottle of insulin. How about that? That's a deal of the day.
Yeah. Why not?
You could have a little checklist. What people want. Make it bodybuilder friendly.
Yeah. I don't care to make it bodybuilder friendly. I just want make it money friendly.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it is nice. If you guys are thinking about staying in the South Beach, or slightly north of there area, you want a nice place.
Send me what? Aceto at RxMuscle. I'll hook you up.
Aceto at RxMuscle.com. And you have two condos. And you know what? Every time Chris tells me I'm going to stay in his condo, I always go to the other one because I always don't know which one you were telling me. Thank God you gave me the address because I would have been. I was looking for the other one, and I'm like, wait a second, this is not the GPS is telling me to go someplace else. I'm going to listen to the GPS, and then I realized that it was the other condo, not the one we stayed at last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And if you're coming to Portland, Maine, I got an Airbnb up here. So if you
do? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'll send you the pictures. You'll love it, Dave.
Really? Maybe I'll come. Does it have bed bugs?
No, but the one I'm remodeling does, if you can believe it. But I got right here from
you got the real stuff.
I get the package.
DMP, yeah, liquid DMP.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week. That's great. So yeah, I saw Jerry Scalisi at the Nationals. He was loving the flashback to the '80s Nationals. We did
a lot of people liked it.
We did the decade of the '80s. If you haven't seen it, it's on RxMuscle.com. We talked about all the winners. From Lee Haney's first win in '82 to the who won? Who did we say won in '89? I can't even remember. I can't remember. Was it?
Oh God!
Mike Christian?
LQ, I don't even know. '89.
I think it was Mike Christian. Yeah, but so I mean, the thing about it that was so great was I forgot all the amazing bodybuilders that were in those shows in the '80s, and they went on to be the '90s stars. That's what people don't realize. It's not like the 80s bodybuilders were the 80s stars. The 80s bodybuilders became the 90s stars. And it's always like, like 5 to 7 years behind. So, especially the guys that won at the end of the 80s, they all were, went through the 90s, some into the 2000s. So, Juan Marquez is still competing. Did he compete this past weekend at the Ferrigno? I thought he was supposed to.
No, he didn't compete. Only, no, he didn't compete. A lot of good guys, but he's not one of them.
Let's talk before I get to, because Miami's so crazy. I got so much to talk about. Let's talk about the Ferrigno Legacy Classic, which is where I should have gone probably this weekend. Lewin invited me, and I chose the Nationals because at heart I'm an amateur bodybuilding fan, and I like to play those guys.
Dave, you never got your pro card? Yeah.
Yes. Chris, you're moving the chair around and it is annoying my lazy eye, and it is twitching right now, and I am asking you to please stop the annoying foot movements.
For Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Palumbo, it's 11:45 at night. That's my Joe Weider imitation.
Yeah, but Joe Weider would like the fact that we were still working at 11:45.
Oh, of course he would. Of course. You know what? He used to... Dave, this is a true story. I won't say who, because it wasn't Peter McGuff. Another editor of Muscle Fitness used to say Joe used to call me at home after leaving the office at 7.
Blackman Joe would do the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, well, Joe would make him work till 7 o'clock at night. And Joe would. The only reason Joe would leave, is because the office was closing. Lights had to be done.
Yeah. Well,
but
he had a real office. That's why it was like a real office building.
Yeah, but he wanted to work to midnight.
Right, I would.
So.
If I owned that
yeah, of course you would. So he would go home, and the editor would go home, and he'd call the editor at home, ring, ring, ring. And he'd want to talk shop, to talk business, or talk the next issue. Yeah. What's coming out next, and who's going to be on the cover. Right. He'd want to do that at 10 o'clock at night, 10 to 12.
I believe it, yeah. Because that was...
Here I am telling you, and I'm like, it's just dawning on me. Wait a minute, that's your life, Dave.
I wonder if they'll portray that in the movie Bigger.
Oh, that's right.
Speaking of which, Dan Solomon texted me the other day. Dan is like...
I wonder who the consultants were, because Dan Solomon, didn't hang out with Joe.
No, but he just brought this. Dan Solomon, I believe, this is accurate. He knew his college roommate was a director, and Dan was always saying, someone should make a movie about Ben Weider and Joe Weider, and it's a great story, and he's right. And I guess, he made it happen because of his contacts, and I guess they made him the executive, producer for that reason. So they wrapped, with the shooting. So he said, I'm available now to do an interview. I said, okay, I'd like to, find out what happened on the set and everything like that. I think it's pretty cool. So I'll try to schedule him this coming week, and we'll find out, exactly what went on the set and, how they cast the movie and all that jazz, as they say. So I'm looking forward to that. It's like, look, it's an interesting movie. Making a movie about Arnold is boring, but Arnold being in a movie about someone else, that's a little more interesting now because Arnold's not a major player in the movie. He's just a part of the movie. And that's why I think they were able to get Colin Van Moger to play the part, even though he's not really a professional actor, because I'm sure he had a lot of lines, but I'm sure they weren't integral necessarily to the storyline, which is the real actor had to be Joe Weider, the guy who played Joe Weider, and that was important. Betty Weider.
And who played Joe? So who plays Joe in the movie?
I don't remember the guy's name. I have no idea. I know Juliana Ho played the Betty Weider, and she looked a lot like her. They made her really look like her quite a bit. And that's why I'm getting Dan on, because I don't know who these people are. I want Dan to tell me, fill me in on all this. So we'll get him on this coming week. But let's get back to the Ferrigno Legacy Classic, because it was a stacked lineup. A lot of people in this lineup. You mentioned to me earlier that you saw that you had an email from Emmerich Delzig.
Yes.
And I said, he calls me all the time because he's trying to get me to buy some products from him. And I'm looking at the lineup, the scorecards, and I see from Russia, Oleg Emelianov.
Oh, and you read it as...
Emelianov.
Yeah.
And I thought it said Emmerich Delzig. I said, holy shit, he made a comeback. He's got to be 60. But it wasn't him. I was wrong. Anyway, Brandon Curry. We knew the battle would be between Brandon Curry and Cedric McMillan. Those were the two, Olympia guys in the lineup. And look, I wasn't there. You weren't there. From the people I talked to, it was close. What was your feedback you got? I thought.
Well, who'd you talk to?
Well, I talked to a couple of different people. I don't want to reveal who I talked to, but a lot of people said that they thought Cedric should have won. I don't know if that's true or not. What did you think?
Yeah, no, that I wasn't there either, but that's what people. That's what I heard.
I heard Brandon wasn't as good as he's been.
Well, what's funny is I heard that Cedric should have won, and then when I looked at pictures from prejudging, I'm like, well, Curry was really good, and he could have won. And then I looked at pictures from the night show, and I probably would have, I probably would have given it I would have given it to Cedric. That's not to say that for sure Brandon doesn't have all the attributes to be the winner. In other words, in someone else with a different opinion.
They got similar physiques, don't they? I mean,
yeah. Well, they got flow. They got flow.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, at the end of the day, what the nod for me was, I thought Cedric was handily better in the back shots, and just a bigger person.
Yeah.
But Curry looked great, too, as well. So it's not to tear apart. It's not like there was some like a blowout or anything that.
I think it was close for certain. The person who impressed me the most in that lineup was freaking Jose Raymond. What a pair of balls he's got! I love it. 5'3", if he's that tall, and I know he listens to the show.
5'3", 43.
What do you weigh? What do you weigh on stage? My wife asked me that.
He was, shockingly, I think everyone shocked.
I said 212.
No, I think he was like all the way down to 207.
Oh, really? Wow.
You know what it was? Is I think that the longer he just continues to like train and not take the Jose Raymond break, the more freaky he gets.
Yeah.
Because, he sent me pictures.
I think he should have won, to be honest with you.
Well, listen.
Can I say that is that very controversial?
No, I don't think so at all.
I think he was more. He was leaner and he had more muscle per square inch than these guys.
Look, there's no one nobody can beat in that lineup the back shots on him in terms of density.
Or the side chest.
How about the side tricep?
Yeah.
Side tricep is the craziest side tricep I told him on earth.
Well, I don't know about on earth, but yeah, it was.
Well, in bodybuilding, I mean, outside of let's say Phil and, I mean.
Well, Cedric had some loose skin on his back. Let's face it. It was, he's never peeled. That's not his MO. He could have been harder, maybe a little fuller. Brandon wasn't his Olympian, and I thought Jose was great.
Dave.
And I don't think Jose's
Dave,
waistline looks bad. That's the key.
Who has the most muscle in the show?
Cedric.
Okay, well then he should win.
Oh, I don't know if he's also the tallest guy in the show.
Well, I guess I was going to say who's got in terms of muscle density per square inch.
Jose.
Okay, and is it a bodybuilding show or is it a men's physique show?
Yeah, so here's my issue. Jose has got a lot of mass on his body, okay, and Cedric has got the height, and I really believe that height definitely is an advantage in bodybuilding, and I think that if Jose comes in third, which I think is where he should have belonged, I don't think that Josh Wade beats him in my mind, at least by the pictures. If Jose comes in third, then you got Jose, Brandon, and Cedric, and if you're going to go for more muscle per square inch, like you said, then I would go with Jose, and if you're not, then you think you'd go with Cedric. Do you think that Brandon's great Olympia appearance helped push him into the win here?
I think it shouldn't, but it shouldn't. But the judging was a little bit. The judging was odd.
Brandon was harder. I'm going to give him that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was harder, and I think that's what I wanted for him. That I'm looking at the pictures really, very, very with a microscope now. He was harder and drier and grainier than Cedric, and I think that's what wanted for him. And he's got great arms. What a fucking pit. That guy has got genetics, man. His kids are going to have some set of arms on them, right? Oof.
Yeah, I agree. So, there was a judging snafu in this show, too,
No, I didn't know. What happened?
Well, if you look at the scorecards, after prejudging, Manuel Romero had essentially straight third place votes.
Interesting. And he did look good, too. I was just looking at his pictures.
Yes, he did. He ended up in fifth.
How the hell did that happen?
Worse. Worse.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I'm looking at that. You're right.
Worse than that, Dave, the last call-out of the prejudging did not include Romero. So how's that work? In other words, the last call-out should be, or is, Cedric, Brandon, and Josh Wade.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that mean to you?
Well, those are the top three, yeah.
Can it mean anything else?
No.
Okay. So prejudging ends, and Josh is not in third place. Romero is in third place. Explain that to me.
Wow. I wonder if it was a mistake.
I said either the scoring was a mistake or it was terrible judging. I mean, that's unacceptable.
Yeah,
if I'm
Josh
Rafael Romero, if I am Manuel Romero, I'd be asking some questions.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to get Heinz Sr., my RxMuscle and Espanol correspondent, he actually interviewed Manuel before the show, but now I'm going to get him to interview him after the show and see what he thinks about that, because that is a little controversial.
And because I thought Jose was going to be third, actually, so I wanted to see what the score sheets show.
Jose was only 1 point behind Josh in both prejudging and the finals, so he was right there. I mean, there were obviously judges who felt that he was better, and rightly so. I think he was. He was hitting his vacuum poses, Jose.
Who's the judges who don't think he's better is the question.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I was looking at these pictures, and Jose was sucking vacuums in, and I mean, he looked really good up there. So I don't know. Well, look, it is what it is. Different judges, different coasts.
My point, Dave, it's not what it is in terms of the. No.
Hold on.
The point.
Who was at the Nationals?
On the point
what judges were at the Nationals? What judges were at the
Romero
Nationals?
Ends up not in third place.
You're right. But what judges were at the Nationals?
I just wanted to hear you say I'm right, because I always say you're always right. So
you're always right too. You're always right. Yeah, have I ever said to you, what, Chris, you're wrong? No, you're always right.
No.
You comment on other.
I've heard your wife tell you you're wrong, and I've heard my wife tell me I'm wrong.
She tells me I'm wrong every day about everything. Thank God I have people out there in RxMuscle land who tell me I'm right about a few things. So I'd have a serious. No, I'm just kidding. But my point is, all the best judges were in Florida. judging the Nationals.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that the judges were bad, but maybe there was, it's hard to run a show sometimes, when you don't have your best people there. So sometimes you have to get fill-ins, and the fill-ins don't really know what they're watching, or maybe they don't have a good grasp on bodybuilding. Maybe they're more bikini and figure judges. I don't even know who was there. So something went wrong, because you're right. How do you have a last three call out, and maybe we'll get a judge. Maybe I'll get, what's his name? Tamer and I are friends. I'll ask Tamer. He was the head judge doesn't vote.
While we do him on the show.
Well, you got to remember, the head judge doesn't vote, Chris. So if the head judge calls out the last three guys, you would think that the judges on the panel would say, okay, these are the top three. Let me put 1, 2, 3 for these guys. But they don't have to. So, that's an important point for people to understand. The head judge only votes.
I'm never buying into that bullshit.
The head judge only votes.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. Insulate me from. You know what? People die at their fucking asses off for 1,900 weeks. Yeah. I'm not buying I just can't. I made the call because I thought they should have been the top three, but it was my panel. Then you know what? You take the time to look left and look right and say, "Hi guys, who's the top three here?" Because you're the head judge. It's not a dictatorship.
Well, the head judge is only supposed to place the people where he thinks they belong. That doesn't mean that the judges who are on that panel have to agree with him, and I think that's an important thing. Very rarely do we see them deviate from that formula.
Just don't even ask the question then, because that's going to be the answer coming up.
All right. Well, anyway, the bottom line is Brandon Curry leaves with the win, and Cedric has to settle for second. Do you think now? What was I have to? You didn't help Cedric for this show, so we got to put that out there. But have you spoken to Cedric at all?
Yeah, he's going to San Marino.
Oh, he is. What's this desire to hit so many shows all of a sudden? The guy doesn't compete ever, and now he's competing in everything.
I don't know. I didn't ask him that question. I'm like the head judge. I didn't ask that question.
Is he doing the Arnold Classic in March?
I don't know. I just know that he's going to Italy on.
He should. Is Brandon going to Italy too?
I believe so.
Oh, so they're going to have a rematch. All right, that'll be good. That'll be great.
It's funny. Who Josh Wade? Who beat Josh Wade just recently?
I don't know who beat him.
Teeny Bopper Reagan Grimes.
Oh, he did. Well, now he's put.
Well, I know, but if he's been
hear
in
Reagan's
the show
gained 30 pounds already out there.
42 by the time this radio show broadcasts tomorrow.
That's true. No, but he has
100% muscle.
What they neglected to say is that when he gained 15 on the plane ride over there from holding water, and so whatever, it is what it is. Maybe they'll throw him in the show.
Well, I mean, if he was in the show, regardless, he would have beaten Josh Wade, right? And they would have already said, "Look at the improvements already." I said, "Well, he just beat him 2 weeks ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was in Vancouver."
Right. Robert Timms won the classic physique there. That's a big one for him.
I get news that Robert Timms is more of a threat this year. Robert Timms will be 10% more of a threat than he ever was in the past.
Why?
Because the weight class limit went up.
True. He's tall too.
And he has kind of sort of one of the better classic bodies, classic physiques in the IFBB. The problem for him is that, or put it this way, with 5 more pounds of muscle on that frame, it's not going to go to his waist. It might allow him to move up a lot of spots. Right. I don't know what is, if he's coming in close to the limit with that height, 210, he ends up too thin, like lanky on stage. Sure. But if the extra 5 pounds offsets the at times on stage feeling of having a lanky physique, then he is potentially a lot more dangerous all of a sudden.
He seems to be deadly in these local, or these regional pro shows, and then when he gets to Olympia, obviously he's going against the best of the best, and I think his height, and like you said, that aspect of not being able to necessarily fill out that height hurts him. So I don't even know if he's at the top of the class. I think he's tremendously talented. I like his physique.
I do too. Me too. Very much so.
Stan Morrison of San Diego wins the men's physique, which the men's physique, Chris, had seriously it was
700 people.
Yeah, there was 700 people in there. It was crazy. So what I'm noticing is that these men's physique divisions are stacked full of people. I mean, Chris,
Yeah.
the Nationals, there was 8 classes now they've expanded it to. Same thing with bikini. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H with 40 people per class. So it's just too many people. And with that many people, it's very hard to watch it. I'm glad I'm glad the sport is growing so much, but it's almost unbelievable how big it's gotten. And that's why I say it's a healthy sport. If you're looking to find a profession for yourself in a sport that you love, coaching is a great job. And I was telling Tyler, my video guy, was sitting next to me. I'm like, do you see how many people are in this show? He's like, yeah. I said every one of them needs a coach. Because a lot of these guys, especially the men's physique and bikini guys, they just started competing 6 months ago. They don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's why I hold my Secrets to Becoming a Diet Group course, because people need to learn how to be good coaches. And they need to know the science of what's going on and how to do diet and supplementation, understand the science, how to dissect problems, solve problems, how to answer questions about performance-enhancing drugs, from anabolic steroids to protein hormones, GH, insulin, IGF, all that stuff, diuretics. Last week of contest prep. So I give this course, as you know, everyone knows this by now. If you don't know it, the next course I'm giving is in Cape Coral, Florida. It's December 2nd, Saturday, December 2nd here. You can sign up at DavePalumbo.com. There's 3 spots left. That's it. So if you guys are thinking about doing it, you want to get into coaching, even if you are a coach, you really want to solidify these concepts in your mind of the science of what's going on, and it's going to make you a better coach, and it's going to enable you to make money. And I think there's a lot of coaches out there that are making well over 6 figures a year. It's a lot of time, obviously, and dedication, because people need to be able to get in touch with you and everything like that. But you know what, Chris? The one mistake I see a lot of people make, not a lot of people, but a lot of the top guys, they don't answer their own emails or text messages. So people send their weekly updates, and they have like assistants answering it. I'm not going to mention names, but to me, that's bullshit, because you know what? If people are paying a lot of money to get your services, you better be looking at your own emails and your own text messages. I'm not talking about once in a while if you're busy, your girlfriend answers or something like that, but I'm talking about you can't hire assistants to do the diets for these people. I just think that's cheating, and I think it's gonna sully people towards coaches. They're gonna be like, you know what? I don't believe that, because a lot of people, the first thing they ask me is, do you do your own, do you answer your own emails? And I'm like, of course I do. I'm like, I wish I could find someone to answer my emails. Nice. No one would ever do as good a job as me, because I'm a perfectionist, and I know you're the same way. You're texting all day long and answering emails because
I have my kids. Your kids
are coaching all your clients now. Well, they do
when they're not buying artwork. They're
your kids are definitely coaching like Rodin, right? The top ones, because they don't need any help really. You just help the new guys.
Yeah. I just have them. I said, fax out the same diet to everyone all the time.
Unbelievable. Well, the bikini division out at the Ferrigno was pretty stacked too. Ruth Wood wins again. This girl's on a roll. And Carlos Godoy, my good friend over there in Portugal, Carlos. He helped Elisa Pacini from Brazil there. She was in second. Mm-hmm. So congratulations. Ellie Fernandez from Mexico third. So it was a real international bikini field there. In the women's physique division, Priscilla Cavilla from Brazil, another Brazilian, wins. Congratulations to her. She'll go to the Olympia next year. Valentina Machina from Russia in second. Wow, look at all these international people over here. I like that. These shows at the end of the year, all the international people wait. They're like, you know what? Let's wait till all the Americans are all burnt out from the Olympia, and then we're going to jump in all these shows here. And
good strategy.
Right, it works. Yeah, it definitely does. So that's that was the Ferrigno Legacy Classic, and all those lucky winners got the big Incredible Hulk, sculpture statue that Louis gives out. Like I said, I'm dying for one of those. I don't even want to get how they give lifetime achievement awards. I'll never get an award, but I don't even want one. I just want an Incredible Hulk statue to put up in my. Probably my son will steal it from me, because I got him all.
Tell him he can stay in my condo if he trades Yoda.
That's right. My son is into the Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man and all that stuff. He doesn't even know. He hasn't seen a single movie, but he just likes the way the characters look, and I act them out, and he's into all that. He's got the Spider-Man shoes. He's got he does the Hulk impression. You've seen that. And what's the other one he likes? he's got to be a little kid somewhere along the way, right? He likes Minions.
Oh yeah,
Your
kids
like
love
the
Minions. Yeah, the 4-year-old likes the Minions.
Yeah, I like them.
It says it reminds me of a black man, but
he likes Minions and he likes Mickey Mouse. He's obsessed with Mickey Mouse. So. My wife, we took him to this gymnastics gym that just was redone recently around here, and he's running around. It's funny because he's like the youngest kid there, and and this guy comes up, one of the owners of the gym comes up. He's like telling my wife and I, he's like, how old is he? We're like, he's 22 months. He's like, this kid, I'm telling you, I'm always right about this. He's going to be a linebacker, football linebacker. He's going to be 6'2". He's a big kid. I could tell. And I'm like, he's looking at me. I'm like, I'm not arguing with you. I'd love to put him in football. My wife, Amanda's like, she doesn't want to put him in football. She's afraid he's going to get hurt, that kind of thing. Which, there's always a risk of getting hurt and playing football. I never played football. I think my mother, my Jewish mother, kept me out of football, kept me in soccer. But I'd like to see him if he wants to play it. I'd like to. Your kids play football, right?
One of them plays football. Yeah. I don't like it. No, because I worry about the head injuries.
Yeah. I think when they're
seriously, young. No, I know when you're young and all that, but
it's when he gets older. Listen, that's the problem.
Well, he's 13, and the kids, they're 13 now. Sometimes you can hear the hits from the parking lot.
Right. I'm sure my father probably blames. My father blames everything that's wrong with him now in old age, from football injuries, from his hip replacements he's had to his spinal arthritis, to his He probably doesn't know that he has no memory left, but he probably blamed that from football too, I'm sure. So, who knows? Who knows really what's going to happen, right? You can't live your life in fear. That's what I tell people.
Yeah. Well, no, you can't, but you can take precaution.
I guess so. Look, if your son was, I love football, you're not going to tell him to not play football, right?
No, I wouldn't tell him. I wouldn't tell him, but I wouldn't hide from him the potential pitfalls of it.
Right, but kids don't see they can't see those.
No, but at least I could tell them.
And then if it happens, you can say, "You see, I told you so."
I
warned you. I warned you that your knees were going to get messed up or whatever the case may be. Like bodybuilding wasn't dangerous, for us, It's I always say whatever's the person's passionate about, I think you got to just let them find their own way. I'd rather have my kid play football than be out on the street corner, smoking fucking crack or something like that in a crack pipe.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
that's how I see it. Anyways, bad news, terrible news. Before we get to the Nationals, Todd Swinney died. I don't know if you know who Todd was. He used to promote shows back in the early days. He used to, I believe he trained Levrone for a little while. Or at least was friends with Levrone, I know, in the early part of Kevin's career. And he has a son, Justin, who owns a gym there in Alabama. But Todd was the kind of guy that would call me out of nowhere and just bullshit with me.
Uh-huh.
And he always thought he was bothering me. And me, I'll talk to anyone. I'm like, Todd, you're not bothering me. He would ask questions and stuff like that. And we would just bullshit. And he was a very religious man. And I didn't know he was sick, and I don't even know if he was sick or not, but I'm trying to find out what happened. I heard he died in his sleep, so I don't know if he had sleep apnea or a heart attack or something like that, because I didn't think he was sick or anything like that. And I know a lot of people in the South there. They know Todd, and he's been around for quite a while. So I just want to send out my condolences and prayers to his family, of course. And I don't know. I think someone told me that all the information is on his Instagram or Facebook account if you want to attend the funeral or anything like that. Or anyway, we lose another soldier, another Iron Soldier, as I say.
Non-stop.
Yeah,
it's non-stop.
It is. It seems like every week we report on someone else. All right, so let's cut to the chase already. How much time have we wasted? We've wasted too much time.
No, not much. We've been going long.
All right. Well, I drove down to Miami on Friday morning. I decided that I needed a little coffee. And because I was driving, it's like a 2.5 hour ride, 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I wanted to stop. So halfway, Alligator Alley connects the west coast of Florida with the east coast. It's the quickest way to get across the state. And I live on the west coast of Florida, so I cross Alligator Alley, and then I'm in Miami. Basically, it's a quick jaunt. There's really very little traffic on there, and it's a nice little ride. So halfway through there's an Indian reservation, like gas station. Next thing, I'm expecting in like 5 years there'd be like a casino there probably. So I stop there. I go in and get some coffee, and I don't know what else I got. I got something they were selling like egg sandwiches, something like that. I get that. I get back in the car, Tyler, and we get back on the parkway, and I look down at the GPS that I'm using, and it says 50 miles. So I said, oh, we got 50 miles. We'll be in the Miami area. We'll start getting closer. We drive 50 miles. All of a sudden, I see get off, in half a mile, get off at this exit. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I see the exit ramp, and it says Naples Zoo. I'm like, Naples Zoo?
We got one of those in Miami.
Naples is on the West Coast. I'm like, what the fuck? The West Coast? I got onto Alligator Alley going the wrong direction for some reason. I don't know how I did it. I was supposed to be heading, towards Miami. I was heading the other direction, and because there's no exits for 50 miles, the GPS just was basically directing me back to that exit to turn around and head back the other direction. So I basically went 50 miles out of the way. So I basically went 100 miles out of the way. I drove. By the time I get to Florida, and I left early enough that I was going to make the prejudging with an hour and a half to spare. I wanted to set up and everything. So I get to the exit where I could actually see the hotel, and I'm stuck in Miami city limits traffic for 45 minutes. I could have walked to the hotel 3 times over. So I get in there. I missed everything through the middleweights. Get in there, and the light heavies are just starting. Pissed off as hell, because first you gotta find parking in that hotel. Then you gotta walk up you gotta walk through the thing. I gotta get my press pass from Pam Betts, and when I see Steve Karel's the promoter of the NPC Nationals. I see Steve in the thing, and I said, Steve, before I figured I'm already late. What's the difference? I said, what's the rules, this weekend? Because there's always different rules, depending on who's buying whatever video rights or whatever.
It's like Bill Maher, new rules. What are the rules?
He says, there's no video of the stage. I said, no clips, nothing. He's like, no, my team is recording the stage for sale with the NPC News as my partner. I said, okay. I said, where can I do interviews? He's like, no place in the venue. Gotta get out of the venue. I said, Steve, you know that there's 4,000 people in there with cell phones that are live streaming the event. They're videotaping their friends, and they're putting it up on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. You tell me, who are these people? I said, Steve, you think I know every person in the stands?
Yeah.
He's like, well,
what's the point? Like, he's going to sell it to who?
He's going to sell it to the competitors. Like, the competitors can... Remember the 80s? Back in the 80s, you'd buy the VCR tape of the show?
Who's going to want it when they can go on Facebook? It's dead news. Right. So what are they going to make it? What's he going to make a VCR of it or something? Does he know...
I don't know if he knows.
What's he going to do it?
I don't even think people watch DVDs anymore.
I mean, on what mechanism is he going to sell it to?
I don't know. So I said to him, look... So he said to me, look... He goes, if you find these people who are doing this and turn them into me, I'll pay you $1,000 to... I said, $1,000? There's 600 people doing it.
Why doesn't he do it?
$2,000.
He'll make more by. He's not going to make $1,000 selling his
stop
video
it.
to
It's
people.
mob scene. It's like going to a rock concert and trying to prevent everyone, the 60,000 people in the stands from live streaming the rock concert. You can't do it. You can't stop it. It's a new age. It's the modern age of social media.
Why did he turn you into like the local police department to shut down free speech?
Right. So I said whatever. So I walked out of there. I said I'm not going to argue with him because I know he wasn't changing his mind. And I go into the prejudging, and I'm doing my reporting. We're doing pictures, and luckily my photographer was already there, and so we didn't miss any pictures. So if you want to see the photos, they're at RxMuscle.com in the contest gallery section. And then I'm saying hello to everyone in the press pit. Everyone was very friendly. Steve Weinberger was great. JM sat next to me, who was bullshitting about, he lost a lot of weight. He went, he's really fixed his eating a lot. And, he just wants to, feel healthy, and he looks really good. So him and I like bullshitting. And I said, by the way, JM, I said, obviously, I have the shoulder replacement I got done a couple months ago. I said, I got the bad leg. I said, I'm going to be 50 next year. I said, isn't it time we maybe that we could all do interviews backstage? I mean, I know you guys are doing it, the exclusivity. You guys get the first dibs, the NPC News. That's not a problem. But do you mind if I, set up shop back there? When you guys are done, I'll just interview the people next. I can't be running to the lobby. I said it's almost demeaning to me at this point. I'm not 15 years old. I'm not an 18-year-old kid. I'm a 50-year-old man. I've been doing this for many years. The competitors like it. I shouldn't have to be taking these competitors and walking them 6,000 feet out to the lobby. It's got to go down escalators. There's no way you can do it.
You could tell them to meet at my condo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, meet him at the condo. There's no way I can do it. I said, do you mind if I? He's like, Dave, I don't care. He goes, as long as you can get backstage. I said, I'll get backstage. It's not a problem. I have press, my press credentials. He's like, okay, I don't have a problem with you doing it. I said, okay. So I knew there was going to be a problem right off the bat. I knew the next day that there was going to be a problem because I know Steve Karel just doesn't, whatever. He likes to, make the rules and doesn't like anyone changing them. Now it shouldn't have affected anyone. Matter of fact, everyone should be backstage. They should have a setup. I've been saying this for 3 years now. They should have a press area where they have a backdrop of the Nationals and everyone does their interviews in the same spot. They should have lights set up so that everyone looks fantastic in these interviews. This is a way to promote the athletes. This is a way to promote the sport. This is a way to make it exciting when you win. Because you remember when we would win the Nationals back in the day, the excitement was getting in the magazines. Nowadays, and actually getting on ESPN, because I remember when I won the Junior Nationals, I was on ESPN. They interviewed me. So nowadays, it's different. Nowadays, there's no magazines. The excitement is being covered by the top media websites, which I have no problem saying that we are one of them. Okay, we're not the only one. We're one of them. Okay, so we should all be backstage. Steve Karel could have still filmed his thing and sold his video to everyone else, no problem. But so I go backstage after the women's bodybuilding, which is the first class to go on, and I basically go to interview the overall winner. She wasn't around. I interviewed one of my clients, Jennifer Kennedy, who won the heavyweight class. After I was done, Steve Karel was back there in 2 seconds, and he was like, okay, you're out of here. I'm like, why am I out of here? And he's like, I don't have to tell you. We'll talk about it outside. I said, I don't understand why I'm out of here. You broke the rules. I said, what rules? I said, the rules about videotaping? I said, I got clearance to do this interview from your partner in the videotaping, bylaws or whatever you want to call it. Your partner in
you want to call out the statute. Get the approval from
First of all,
so what do you say?
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to talk about it. You're out of here. All right.
Well, he don't want to talk about anything. No. He want you to find the guys, videoing, the people with their cell phones and pay you $1,000.
But I went to the people who made. He said Jim Mannion and JM made the rules. It was the NPC. It was their rules. They don't want anyone backstage because they're. So I asked the people who supposedly made the rules, and they told me that there was no problem with it. So, why was I to believe that what I was doing was wrong? So. He tells me I got to get out. So I got to go. I said, look, Steve, I got to get my stuff. It's in the press. I'm not leaving my stuff in the press. But I already lost the laptop and computer early in the day. That's another story. I got pickpocketed in Whole Foods. So and I even I put the picture up of the woman who stole the laptop from me because I got the security cameras, and I'll never find it, of course. But I put it up on Facebook and my Instagram. If anyone finds it, I have a $500 reward after that laptop because I got a lot of stuff on there. Anyway, so. I grab my stuff, and I tell Tyler, look. Oh, and I go up to Steve Weinberg, who's at the judging table, and I said, Steve, Steve Karel's kicking me out of here because he said he did an interview in the back. I said, I had clearance from JM yesterday. I don't know. He's like, let me talk to him. So, of course, Steve tried to talk to him, but there's no talking to Steve Karel because there's no logic in the world is gonna change his mind at this point because he's just trying to exert his dominance over me. So Steve's like, look, just go out to the lobby. I'll let you know what's going on. And I get my stuff, and I'm like, well, and I say, turn the camera on. I said, I want people to see as I'm being escorted. Oh, by the way, they got 6 police officers escorting me out of there, like as if I'm a physical threat, like to do anything, right? Because I'm violent. Like there's no violence at all in me whatsoever. I'm not even physically intimidating looking anymore. So they get the cops, and I'm interviewing everyone on the way out. I'm explaining what's going on, and you can see, and I'll put the whole video up in completion. I put up a rant they did but I don't know if I haven't put the video up yet of the whole event, me leaving, because I want people to see how long the walk, Chris, is to get from the venue to the lobby of the Hyatt Regency, because that's where I would have to get every person who wins their overall out there, which would be, it's impossible because people disappear, they don't know where to go. And they won't even let me tell the competitors where to go. You know, they won't let me make an announcement. Oh, by the way, guys, if you win after you're done with the NPCs, come out to the lobby because Dave Palumbo will be there. I can't even make that announcement. So the whole thing is ridiculous. And, you know, it goes back to the fact, and once again, I want to preface this, and I've said this in the rant I did, that I was treated very well by JM, Jim Mannion, Steve Weinberger, all the people, all the judges, everyone really treats us very well, okay? You know, maybe in the past we had some run-ins with people, but in the last 2 years we've been treated very well, and in turn, you know, I've had developed some good relationships with people, and I'm not blaming any of those people. This is all Steve Karel, and what I'm saying is that Steve Karel is still running these shows like they're in the 80s. They're not in the 80s. We said it before. No one gives a shit about the videotape that's being put out. Okay, people want to see clips immediately. They want to see how they looked. They want to see highlights on a wrap-up video so people can watch what they look like while they're being critiqued. And the thing that burns me, because I'm for the competitor, of course, they charged $350 to enter this show. They had over almost 900 people in the show, Chris. That's like over $300,000 that Steve Karel made before he sold a single ticket to a seat, before he got a single sponsor's money. So let's face it. Does he really need to charge for the video?
So he's making some bank off promoting the Nationals.
There's no problem with that. I have no problem with that. That's great. But you know what? Why don't you throw the fucking video in for free? How about that? Hey guys, you know what? I'm gonna film this, but you know what, you guys, because you're paying so much money.
Where is this video? What are you talking about, Dave? How are you gonna get a video? What do you download it or something?
No, there's a booth there where you remember back in the 80s you would fill out with a pen these forms, and you'd put your credit card number in there, and you'd have to send them a check or something like that, and and they would mail you the VCR tape. I think it's like that, except it's probably a DVD. I would assume so. I don't think anyone has VCR tapes anymore, but I don't know. Maybe there's a download option too. I really didn't look into it, and that's fine. You can offer that, and you know what? There'll still be people who buy it, even if people have stuff online. Even if RxMuscle had highlights in their wrap-up video of the winners.
It's deeper than that. He don't like you for some other reason.
Because you know who's buying the videos? The competitors that are not in the top 5, that want to see themselves. Those are the people. We're not putting up clips of those people anyway. So it's not going to cut into sales of that whatsoever. And me being backstage, or Muscular Development being backstage, or Muscle Insider is also not going to cut into any sales or take away anything from their pocketbooks. Okay, so I don't know what the freak is going on. All I know is that, you know what? I've heard so many people come up to me since this happened to me and tell me, you know what? I had a run-in with Steve Karel at this show and that show, and he cursed me out. And this guy, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time for Steve Karel to resign and to move on. Put someone else in that slot who could promote the show in a positive. Okay.
I know someone who could do the show.
I do too. Who do you have?
Give it to Weinberger.
That's what I think. Absolutely. He puts a great New York pro on. He doesn't have a huge show like that. I think that would be perfect. I would start a petition for that.
He probably don't want it. He won't want it. He has got his own shows. He's too busy. He
can do it because he's got crews of people, you know what, who will help him with the show. It'll be top notch. Everything will move smoothly. He still runs a tight ship, Steve Weinberger. Don't get me wrong. No one's getting over on him. But he understands the necessity for people to be... He doesn't charge people for video rights. He never once has sold the video rights at that New York Pro. Ever. He never gives it exclusively to anyone. He said everyone can video, can do whatever they want. If you have press credentials, you can go backstage. You can do your interviews with the people. He doesn't restrict anything, and he never has. And you know why? That's why that show is so well covered, and people get excited about it. And he gets it. He understands social media. He understands websites. He's got a great website for his show and for the NPC in the Northeast there. He gets it. And Tim Gardner's good too. He's in Florida.
Yeah, excellent. Tim is excellent.
I would like
agree
to
with
see
you.
Steve and Tim Gardner and Mel, all team up and run the Nationals. I guarantee you, it'll change the whole flavor. Why are they holding it in Miami, in the city of Miami? It's a sewer. People are pickpocket. I got a laptop stolen.
Oh, wait a minute. I love Miami. I'm defending Miami.
No, I didn't say South Beach. I said in the city of Miami where they hold that show. There's no parking. There's
Miami.
Tons of traffic. It's disgusting. There's vagrants walking around the street. I don't understand it. Why do you want to put it in such a closed off area that costs money and is hard to get to? Put it in Fort Lauderdale. They had it there one year. It was great. Put it in. I know South Beach is expensive, but at least South Beach was a little nicer. But even it's hard to get around. It's too expensive. They should be holding it in like Boca or Fort Lauderdale or West Palm or some place that's nice. It's Florida, man. Who wants to hang out in the city there? People want to go to the beach, after the show and do photo shoots. I think Steve is just. I really believe that he should resign or they should replace him. There's no rule. There's no reason that the same guy should be able to have to hold the same show
He's had it for
every
life.
Yeah, but why? It's not the monarchy. It's not the fucking King of England. We don't have to wait till he dies to replace him.
Have you ever seen his teeth?
Of course, his teeth have nothing to do with this. What is?
No, I'm saying no because you know what. Have you seen him in a good mood?
No, I've never seen. Oh, you mean have you ever seen him smile?
No, a smile.
No.
Because when you said Tim Gardner, you know what? Immediately,
I did. I did see.
He's a serious He's a hardcore promoter, Tim Gardner. Yeah. But he's beyond pleasant.
Oh yes.
To everybody.
Yeah, and look, I don't agree with everything he does too, but I think he's a great promoter. So,
I'm just coming up with another way to throw Steve Karel under the bus. That's all.
I saw Steve Karel smile once. I saw him in a strip club in. I think he actually owned part of the strip club. Believe it or not, this was back in the '90s, and he was smiling. That was the only time I've ever seen.
What is the?
Look, you know what the truth is?
I know you can listen. You can be a promoter. Don King doesn't know how to throw a punch, but he was a great boxing promoter. But the interesting thing is, generally, bodybuilding promoters have, they have gyms, have competed, they've judged. What's the Steve Karel connection to bodybuilding?
I don't know. I have no idea. He's the old guard.
Did he compete? You
know what the funny thing is? I'm one of the few people who usually defend Steve Karel. I know he's got a weird personality and he's always miserable and that's like his shtick, but like I always try to make him laugh and I always try to talk about, he owned part of the EC. He was a 50% part, I believe, in the ECW wrestling, and I always try to talk to him about stuff that is something that he could relate to and that he has, something, to talk about, and he's got good stories, but I don't know what this power thing is. It's I'm not a little young kid anymore, and he's not a young man either. So I don't know what this crap is about. What this power thing is about. He couldn't come to me. We can't sit down in a room with me, him, and Jim Agnon and just iron this thing out. It was in poor taste. You know what? The only people that suffered was not me. It was the competitors who didn't get covered, and it was the fans who didn't get the coverage from us. And you know what the funny thing was? I was standing outside the Hyatt Regency for about 2 hours before I finally left, and I probably did about 10 interviews because people were just walking out. So I got a lot of the overall winners. I actually got Chris DiDomenico, the winner, before he actually got on stage and won.
He doesn't have to buy the VCR then.
Yeah.
The VCR tape from Steve.
I got people posing outside, in the outside the hotel. So, I mean, once again, I didn't lose out. The competitors lost out, and you can thank your promoter, Steve Karel. And you know what? If you guys are pissed off, then you should call up, email the NPC office and tell them that you don't want this guy promoting this show anymore, because I think his time has come and gone. There's no reason for him to be doing this. Maybe it's the money that he's making. It's going to his head. I don't know. But the bottom line is that we need enlightened leaders in this sport, okay, who are going to bring this sport into the next, millennium. And right now, having guys old school who want to, control everything and not allow the sport to be covered the way it needs to be, that's bullshit. And you know what? That's terrible for the industry, and it's terrible for the sport, and it's hurting the athletes, and it's hurting their notoriety. It's hurting their ability to make money and get contracts, because when we, showcase these guys, Chris, this allows the supplement companies to see them in a different light, to see their personality, to see who they are, and that helps these athletes get, sponsorships and jobs and stuff like that, and guest postings and whatever goes along with it. So, people like me when I do a quote of the week. I try to do relevant quotes. My quote of the week is, be the light, and the people will find the way. And that's the truth. You know what I mean? I'm speaking the truth here. It's an uncomfortable situation. It was uncomfortable for me to walk out of there, with cops, escorting me. But the bottom line is, and I could have kept my mouth shut, and maybe they would have gotten me back in. But you know what? What he did was bullshit. It wasn't right. And you know what? It needs to be exposed, because he's been doing this for years on end, and it should end this year. I appeal to Jim Mannion and to the organizers of our whole organization. You guys got to rethink what's going on here. This is not the way we want to promote our sport, because it makes people make fun of our organization and say it's bullshit. And you know what? It's not. I know it's not. I know Jim Mannion is very passionate about the sport of bodybuilding. He doesn't need the money anymore. He does it because he loves it, and he's still growing it, even at his age, because it's important to him, and he wants to leave a legacy, that's going to continue to be carried on. Steve Karel is not doing him any favors. He might be an old crony of his that's been doing this for 30 years, but that doesn't make it right, and that doesn't mean he should be the guy that continues to do it. Okay? Yeah. And that's I don't want to belliger this to death, but that's I'm very, very I'm very impassioned about this.
Well, you're doing you're doing a rant video. I hope you're really pissed at the rant video, because you seem reserved right here.
I think I might have been more pissed here, but it's true. Give me a break. You think I wanted to spend my own money to drive to the Nationals, have to stay? Luckily I didn't have any hotel bills because of you, thanks. But I could have had a hotel bill if I would have stayed in the hotel. I had to buy food. I had to give up.
In other words, it cost you money to be there.
Yeah, of course. I lost 2 days with my family. Okay, I didn't need to do that. I could have just sat back and looked at the results online, and I could have reported on it. But I went there because I know the athletes like to be interviewed by me and to be showcased and to be made to feel special. And Steve took that away from these guys.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. People want to come off stage, even if they get third, their first Nationals. They want people to interview them.
And you know what the truth is? Again, finish.
They want people to interview because it celebrates the moment. It makes you feel important. You get to say things, either to get things off your chest or give thanks to people, or be a dick if you thought you should have won when you got third place. You get to express yourself in the moment of, a great achievement. And in other words, it's not in other words, it's good for the athlete, which is good for the sport. And if you were making, I can understand it and say, they kicked Dave out. Why? Because he made like $50,000 off them on the weekend, sneaking around doing interviews.
Right.
He didn't make 10 cents.
No, I lost money. And then Ron Harris writes, update for you guys. Dave Palumbo got kicked out of here for filming the stage.
Well, here's an update for Ron Harris. I helped one guy in the show, and he got second in the super heavies, and I had a couple people in the show here and there, and I had two people there, and I had someone in the Diamond Cup in Greece, and I had a couple people in the Ferrigno Legacy. So I said, you know what, I'm going to stay away from the computer, and at the end of the day, I'll log on and read play-by-plays. Yeah. And I read the play-by-play of the super heavy, and the guy that I was helping, who ended up second, he said, not worthy of being at a national level show. And I said, God, he looked good in the pictures. He must have bombed.
And I said, and what did I say?
I said, said, yours is like peeled, going to be edged out. He'll end up in second.
Yeah, exactly what happened.
And that's exactly what happened. So Ron probably should pay more attention to who he's doing, covering in the play-by-play.
Yeah, than worrying about what I'm doing.
Than worrying about what you're doing.
And then the other Mongoloid who will remain nameless said, I think he got kicked out because he didn't really have a press pass. Meanwhile, in the video I'm doing, I have, as I'm getting kicked out, I have the press pass around my neck. So obviously I had a press pass. So, look, people love controversy and everything like that. But the bottom line is that it was.
That was a plug for MD, by the way, you guys, because, I mean, that's how weak you are.
Yeah.
We don't even talk about him anymore because it's like so. I mean, it's like
there's nothing to talk about. You know what the truth is? No. Very few people are covering these shows anymore.
No, that's true. That's interesting.
The press pit was empty. So you know why? Because they don't want anyone covering this. Because people like Steve Karel make it so difficult to cover the show that people don't want. They're like, we're going to spend money to come here to do what? They should be happy that there's a couple of organizations still left that want to cover these shows, because having the NPC News only there is not good, because while they do a great job, and I go to their website for most of the contest photos when we critique on the radio show, but in a big show like this, you want multiple coverage because the athletes want it. The more interviews they do, the better, the more popular. Look, if you win the NPC National overall title, you want to be interviewed by everyone. You want everyone to know it. You want the whole world to know what happened. Chris DiDomenico won this, super heavyweight and overall, and you know what? Everyone should know about that. Back in the day when, Don Long won or Kevin Levrone won or Paul DeMeo won, everyone knew. I mean, it was freaking like they were like rock stars. Nowadays, Steve Karel wants to say, lock you in a closet in the back and not let anyone even see you. Maybe they'll put you in a box and sneak you out of the freaking venue. God forbid someone wants to take your picture and they're still in the actual contest venue. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so just to give a quick rundown, you mentioned Matt Kuba. I thought he looked really good in that super heavyweight class. Chris DiDomenico, who was trained by Michael Eli, narrowly edged him out. I think he's had a little bit more muscle, more conditioning. My one critique of Chris DiDomenico was that he does have a little bit of gyno that needs to be fixed, before he gets on a pro stage. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. That's my only knock against him. I thought the super heavies were good. I liked the Sherrod Williams guy who came in third.
He's very good as well.
Yeah. I think he's got a great future. I think he's just got to tighten up the glutes and hamstrings in the back. And Nam Shartza was also pretty impressive to me. And
very impressive.
He faded really bad when he first came out. I thought he was going to win the class, and then he really faded pretty bad toward the end of it. But probably the guy with the most potential, who's still a couple years off, is the 24-year-old kid who's trained by Jerry Scalisi and my friend Don Matasio, Vincenzo Massone, who is from Long Island. He's so Bob Grushkin that you see his physique, that's totally Bob Grushkin physique. Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means he's got the good arms, shoulders, back, and he's got the small waist, and he's got the good looks, and the Italian guy, and
well, look at who's helping him. Is it Jerry?
Jerry trains him, and
it's the same, of course.
Yeah. So Jerry, they got to bring his legs up. He's a tall kid, and his legs have come up a lot, but they need to come up a little more. But the guy's got like a fucking pro level back, like I've never seen before.
Yeah,
unbelievable. So like I said, 5th place in the Nationals at 24 years old is pretty damn good when you're over 6 foot tall. I think in another year or two he's going to be really coming to his own, and he's going to be deadly. I did a great interview with him in Whole Foods as I was getting my laptop stolen from me. So it's a very expensive interview. I just want you guys to know. So when it goes up,
nobody stole your VCR in Whole Foods, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't. I was trying to figure out what would be worse, losing my phone or my computer, and I think it was my computer.
Really?
Yeah, you know why? Because the phone, I don't want to lose my phone, believe me, but the phone, the new thing, it's all backed up on iCloud now. So you just get a new phone and you download the iCloud account onto your phone, and you got everything back. So it's like, it's not a big deal anymore. There's no iCloud. Well, there probably is some kind of iCloud for laptops, but I don't have it, that's for sure. So I got to start over. But sometimes,
for laptops, don't you have carbonite?
Carbonite? What's carbonite?
Carbonite's backing up your computer all the time while you're on it.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's like $80 a year.
Oh,
it backs everything up, and if your computer crashes, you just get a new one, download your account, and it's all there.
That's maybe something I'm going to look into. I'm really pissed at myself that I didn't password protect my computer, because I had to go. I changed passwords and everything. It was a real nightmare. So it is what it is, though. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe this woman will get caught. You never know. Her picture's out there, so I put it all over everything. Maybe one person who's hanging out on the beach on South Beach might just run into her, and they see my $500 reward I have out there for the laptop. They'll say, "Fuck, man, this will pay for."
Well, maybe this radio show. You don't know how many people listen to the radio show. It's just ridiculous.
You're right.
The mix of people.
I know. Guys, go on my Facebook or Instagram account and look at the security camera picture of this woman, old lady who stole my laptop. You actually see her holding my laptop. Unbelievable. And you know what the cops told me? Like, we were looking at the footage. I didn't see the footage. She actually came. She was like right next to me, and I didn't even know. That's how, when I'm talking bodybuilding and I'm in passion, that I don't even know what's going on around me. This woman swiped it right in front of my eyes, essentially. Anyway. Heavyweight class won by Justin Mackey, who I actually interviewed as well. Ironically enough, the night before, after the prejudging, I was in the buffet with Tyler, and Justin heard me doing my wrap-up, and he's like, "You want to interview the winner of the heavyweight class?" I said, "That's going to be Justin Mackey." He goes, "That's me." I said, "Get up here." And so I got his interview, and so that worked out well. So, even it's funny because even when people try to prevent me from doing stuff, I always wind up getting the job done unbeknownst to me. It's like the angels above are like, watching out for us. I liked Justin. I think he was a little on the smaller side upper body wise compared to some of the other guys, but his conditioning was amazing. He had done the USA and the North American. He was knocking on that door all season long, and I think he got his diploma here, deservedly so. So congratulations to him. Christian Salcedo, who looked really good, was second, and Matt Schmidt, who, by the way, on the competitor sheet they put his name as someone else, and so he came up to me in the. Matter of fact, he's the one I thought swiped my computer. He came up to me in Whole Foods, Matt, and he said, "You didn't mention me in your analysis." I said, "Well, who are you?" And I'm looking at the sheets, and I'm like, "I don't see you on the sheets." And it turns out his number was wrong. He was on the sheet, but it wasn't under the right number. So we go by numbers. I don't know who anyone is sometimes. And so I changed. I said, I got to let people know. It's a good thing you came in here. Now, at least you can get credit for, we'll know, we'll put the right pictures up and all that stuff. So he leaves, and then I notice my laptop's gone. And I'm like, man, I wonder if this guy picked up my laptop by accident. So I go on Facebook, I find his name, and I this is the wonderful thing about social media. Steve Karel should know about this. I call him up. I instant message him on Facebook, and I'm like, call me. Here's my cell phone. He calls me up like maybe 20 minutes later. He's like, what's up? I'm like, my laptop was stolen. Did you happen to see it? And I think at this point I knew that they had seen the woman on security cameras. I said, I think I told him something like, yeah, I thought you took my laptop. But he's like, no, I didn't take it. He goes, as a matter of fact, I'm a cop. He goes, and I deal with a lot of stolen stuff. And he was giving me some ideas on how to, see if the woman had purchased anything in the store on a credit card before that. They could have traced it. I'm sure she didn't probably. But anyway, so Matt Schmidt, terrific physique. I really thought he looked good. I like the whole top four of the heavyweight class. Michael Toscano was really good too. If he brings up his legs a little bit, he'll be super dangerous in that class. So good supers, good heavies. Light heavies were top notch too. I don't know if you know this guy who won, Errol Moore.
Yeah, I know Errol. Very good bodybuilder.
Yeah, good potential. Light heavies were tough. He beat a couple good guys. Kevin Johnson second, Kyle Edian in third. Don Smith, who owns California Crazy Wear, had been texting me before the show, and he's like, watch out for Kyle Edian. And he was right. It's good. Freaky proportion. He's got to put a little more size on. Conditioning was right there. He was ripped. And, there's a lot of good guys in this show that just weren't able to, win when they, maybe in other years they might have, because there was a lot of competition. It was very deep. By the way, all the pictures and placings are up at RxMuscle.com on our contest gallery, so you can check that out over there. And the middleweight was won by Ronald Gallup. Now, I missed that class, so I was really kind of pissed. Luckily,
because you're at the zoo in the Naples Zoo.
I was at the Naples Zoo, and then I missed it at night, of course, because I got kicked out. So,
well, good. You weren't arrested, so it wasn't all that bad.
Can
you imagine if you arrested, if they put like the handcuffs right on you, and
that would have been great. They actually made me get out of the lobby. I said, okay, I was going to wait in the lobby of the hotel, and then the cops are like, you have to leave. I said, why? I said, I stayed here. They're like, do you have a key? I said, well, I'm not staying here tonight. I'm going back to Cape Coral tonight. I said, but I did spend $400 in your restaurant over the weekend. They're like, well, you got to leave. I said, why? What did I do wrong? They're like, we'll tell you when you go outside. I said, okay. Well, I said, I'm sure the police department of Miami would never lie to anyone, right? So I'm assuming that you're going to tell me the truth. You're going to tell me why. So we get outside. I walk outside, and I'm like, okay, now, why was I kicked out? Well, we don't have to tell you. I said, well, you told me if we go outside, you're going to tell me. So you're liars now? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, they tricked you.
Yeah. She's like, well, as a, we're just, I don't even know what she said.
Maybe she's like Steve Karel and say, oh, you know. I
have it on film. You guys can watch. She said some bullshit. I'm like, you know what? I did absolutely nothing wrong. I'm not physically doing anything wrong. I'm not threatening anyone. I've spent a lot of money in the hotel. There's absolutely no reason why I should have to leave this hotel lobby. You're violating my rights. She's like, well, this is a private place. If we don't want you there, then you don't have to be there. I said, that's bullshit. I said, you guys know it, and you lied to me. So I stood outside the hotel, and I was.
You get that on the.
Yeah, I got. Yeah, I didn't curse, but I'm respectful to police officers.
You get Steve Karel's teeth on the video.
I have Steve. I should do like a freeze frame on the miserable face that he has.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it is what it is. It's fun to talk about because it's controversial, but it was unpleasant. And you know what? It was disrespectful to me. Yeah, look, I've done stuff in the past which I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe they were right. I was maybe a little pushing the envelope, but I did absolutely nothing wrong. I was completely doing, trying to do good the whole weekend, and this was just really, really bullshit, and so that's really what pissed me off. I want to just give a shout out to my client Carlos Thomas, who won the middleweight class at the Eastern USA last week, and then came in here and placed top 5 for the first time in the Nationals. Great talent. He's going to be doing some good stuff in the future. Congratulations to him. And Thomas Lyman won the welters. Eliezer Ray won the lightweights, and Israel Lianas won the bantamweight. You can see all the pictures online. I'm not going to critique them because I didn't see them, because I missed them twice. I missed them. Mm-hmm. Akeem Scott won the men's physique overall. I know that my friend Tennille Ray helped him out. I did get an interview with one of the guys, Anthony Gilks. No, I didn't. Hold on. Who did I get? I forgot who I got. I got an interview with one of the guys who won the one of the classes. Came out and I got him. I forgot his name. Classic physique was won by George Kawalalu. He was awesome. I thought he was terrific at the prejudging. I knew this guy was gonna win. I didn't know if he would win the overall, but I knew he definitely had the tool set to do it. So congratulations to him. Women's physique, Jacqueline Hickerson won that overall. Figure was won by Martina Harris, who did a tremendous interview with me outside the Hyatt Regency, Chris. This is the first year competing. One of those girls, I should say. And she did 4 shows and she won them all. And actually, no, I think did she say she didn't win one of the shows? I don't remember. But what a personality this girl has. We were having a ball with this interview. You guys are going to love that one. And Lauren Dana Miller won the bikini overall. So once again, if you want to check out all the pictures, they're all up online. I had a really good time watching the show. I'm glad I saw most of it. The only class I didn't really see was the men's physique, and I missed the first, 3 classes of the men's bodybuilding. But I saw the whole show. I watched I analyzed it all. And you can check out the forum through RxMuscle.com on our forums in Muscle Central if you want to see the comparisons and how I critiqued all the classes at the prejudging. Anyway, so it's a long weekend, Chris. I can go on and on and on. It's I don't want to belliger the whole thing, and it is what it is. And I'm going to put it behind me but I'm going to put the video. I did my rant, and I'm going to put the video up where I show myself being escorted out. Tyler films the whole thing, and I'm kind of talking my way through it. And then I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Hopefully, the impassioned pleas that I made to get rid of Steve Karel, because he's obviously not good for the sport anymore, will be taken seriously. And I don't do that very often. You know that, Chris. We don't do that very often here. But you know what? I know you've had run-ins with him too. You're being very quiet over there. But
I haven't, because I just, what? He's he's an anomaly. He's been doing it forever. I don't think he does a bad job. I don't think there's anything super tremendous that you can say about him.
No.
But
he's not doing the athletes any good. He runs a good show. He runs a tight ship. I'll give him that. And I always said that to him. I said, Steve, there's nothing ever goes wrong at your shows, but look, you got to evolve with the times. You got to change. Just because the rules were this way 30 years ago doesn't mean they have to be this way now. Because it's all different now. There's no magazines anymore. There's no magazines. They're done. So the whole industry has changed, and how we cover the sport has changed, and you got to change with it, or you become a dinosaur. And you know what happened to the dinosaur? It went extinct, and they were replaced by something else. So, if you can't change, then get out. Then we don't want you. You're not doing the. I'm talking for the athletes. I know what the athletes want because I talk to them. I'm in the trenches with them. I train them. I know what these guys want and what these women want.
No, well, I said it's deeper. He don't like you about something else. I'm telling you. I'm Dave. You always say you know what? I'll say it. I'm a great read on people. He don't like you for some other reason. It's got nothing to do with
maybe you're
interviews.
Right. I wouldn't put it past him. So anyway,
because if it had to do with interviews, it's ridiculously resolvable.
Right. Yep. I agree.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is a benefit. You cannot say there's no benefit. You're not Joe Schmo. Hi, I'm Joe Schmo. I have an internet site, or I have an Instagram, following of 200, and I want to get backstage and do interviews. Kind of like been around the block in bodybuilding, kind of got a history, kind of interviewed everyone with the exception of Arnold.
Right.
People like my interviews. Even people who don't like me like my interviews. Even bodybuilders who don't like me, when they sit down with me, that's me, that's you. Mm-hmm. And they do like a live with, they end up going way over the 30 minutes because they enjoy the interview process. In other words, it's something that the athlete likes. So if it was just a snafu with interviewing, then it would be, in reasonable terms, resolvable. But because that would be so simple, it seems like it's something else.
Yeah, he could have just said, you know what, I know you did an interview back here, no more. No, you got to go in the lobby, which I still would have been pissed off about, but at least that would have been, I would have had to say, okay, it's your show. That's your rules. I could have complained. I could have gone to JM and said, hey, you told me yesterday. But he just kicked me out. I mean, that was disrespectful to me. So.
But you know what? He don't give a shit.
No, I know he doesn't.
No, it's because when you call the police, really,
yeah,
when you call the police department and you say you have to get rid of this guy, it's deeper than.
I'm glad I'm such a threat.
It's deeper than Dave.
I like that I'm so threatening.
No, it's not a threat. It's something. Believe me, it's something personal that you don't know about. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed.
Probably right.
So the answer to you trying to usurp him out of the sport is going to be his spin. Either that, or he's going to attack you behind your back.
He can attack
Mark
me
my words.
He's already
Guaranteed.
He's already doing
Guaranteed.
it. He's already doing it. I don't care. You know what? I'm for the athlete, and you know what? The sport is about the athlete. It's not.
That's
about,
why I said.
It's not about the promoter of the show.
Dave, I said what
promoters can be replaced. The athletes can't be replaced. They are the sport.
What special is he bringing to the who promotes the USA?
John Lindsay does a great job.
Okay, I mean, what is special about the Nationals over the USA? I wouldn't say anything.
No, but they give more.
Well, if you've been promoting it, if you've been doing it for 30 years, you'd think that it'd be a blowout special. I mean, there'd be something incredibly special about it. Yeah. You can say what's different between the Arnold Classic and the no offense, the Ferrigno Legacy. Everything's different.
Right.
Everything's special. Oh, why? Well, because the promoter, Bob Lorimer and Arnold Schwarzenegger, have been doing it for 30 years. And because they've been doing it for 30 years, they are promoters extraordinaire.
But they have evolved. They understand social media. They understand. They live stream the event, and they still let us videotape everything. And they still let us interview people anywhere we want. They give the press full access. They give us press releases. They send them to my email throughout the year so that I can put them up because they value the press because Arnold understands this stuff. The Lorimers understand this stuff, and it's disgusting that 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 the amateur athletes don't have the advantage of an enlightened promoter like Arnold, like Louis has become, like Steve Weinberger, like the Parisos even, So I'm demanding that this guy be talked to, and either he evolves or he gets out or he goes extinct. That's it. We don't need him in the sport. You know what I mean? The other people can run the Nationals just as well, and they can do a better job, and the athletes will get more out of it. If he's going to do this to me, okay, who's one of the best things that happened to the sport in terms of someone who's pouring their passion, their own time into the sport and their own money to help promote it, then what is he going to do to the people who don't care about the sport? What, he's going to get a bunch of people who just are going through the motions there because they listen to his rules? Okay, rules are meant to be changed if the times demand that they're changed, and that's what it's about. There used to be slavery in this country. There used to be no women's rights. The women couldn't vote. Okay, they changed all that. Guess what? Because the times changed.
Well, I wouldn't compare it to slavery, but
no, I'm just saying.
I understand your point. I understand the point of times of changing.
Yeah, there's different rules at certain times. That certain rules served, and that now they don't anymore, and so they change them. And that's where we're at, All right, guys, next weekend is the San Marino Pro. Our good friend John Enrico Pica is promoting this it's like a super show now because what's happening is they're going to have the pro event there, but they're also having this amateur event that's open that's going to be giving away 1 million pro cards, okay? So it's going to be packed to the hilt. I wish John Enrico the best of luck and all the athletes who will be out there. I believe it's the last event of the year, right? The last big pro show of the year, at least.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that it's on Thanksgiving weekend, but I guess in San Marino they don't have Thanksgiving, so they don't care about it. But are you doing anything exciting for Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving?
This Thursday?
Exciting to me is always being home. Really.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm going to be home too.
Because you know what? You know this, Dave. I started out with saying I'm laughing and I'm thinking, as I'm doing a radio show at 1 a.m., I'm saying, Joe Weider would close up shop at 7 p.m. The reason why they'd have to throw him out of his own office. Security. He had the artwork in there.
Yeah.
So security would have to shut it down. But when he'd shut it down, he'd drive home to his home office, and then he'd call up the editor, and the editor wanted to go home to his wife and kids and relax. But Joe wanted to talk shop and talk about what's coming up and. So I'm making fun of that, and here we are doing the show at 11 a.m. So on Thanksgiving,
11 a.m. It's 1 in the morning right now.
Yeah, 1 a.m. What's good about Thanksgiving is I'll be home with my phone off and not looking at a computer and enjoying the day.
Well, are you going to do the regular Thanksgiving dinner, or are you going to do like
we're going to do the Thanksgiving. We were going to go to my sister's, and we're going to stay here. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm doing yet. We probably go out to eat. I have a feeling.
I know you're not.
Next year, when my son's like going to be 3, I think he'll appreciate Thanksgiving. I can put turkeys on the table and that kind of stuff. This year, I don't think he gives a crap. He doesn't know anything about the holidays yet. He's not at that age yet. I always liked to do the family thing when I was a kid. So I think once he gets of age and the new baby's a little older, then I want them to understand tradition, because that's something that. Been missing really from because my family's so fragmented now that it's like I have to create my own family, so to speak. And I'm sure you do the same thing with your family. You got like a whole little tribe over there.
It's my immediate family.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chris, enjoy Thanksgiving, and next week we'll break the radio silence and we'll get back on the radio. Hopefully this week we'll get some coverage done as well, some iron debate and stuff like that, because we got to dissect a little bit more what happened at the Ferrigno Legacy Classic. Maybe we'll get Jose on Iron Debate to talk a little bit about it, what it was like to compete in that open class.
I get news for you. You get Jose and you cover 2 topics. You cover 3 topics. What was it like to compete? How was Josh Wade in the 3rd place slot, even though he wasn't in the 3rd place slot?
Right.
That's controversial.
Yeah.
And ask him about you getting kicked out of Nationals if he's on your side or not.
And maybe he can go down to Florida and find that fucking woman who stole my laptop.
Oh no, I think he'll have a lot of things to say about Steve Karel.
I think he will too. All right, stay tuned, guys. That's it for tonight. We're out of time. Until next week. Remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone.
911!